Right.
Then they got to go through the process, yada yada
Depending
yada.
on the state. Depending on the state.
Depending on the state. Well, let's just say New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they provide them a space, and they give them like 30 days, to stay there, and then they have to kick them out. But they could also come back, or it could be another situation that happens and stuff. Maybe they have a measles outbreak. Now, what the fuck is a measles outbreak? Why are you having measles? You know what I'm saying? And why are you bringing measles into the country? You know what I mean?
So can we give some context about this, about the measles thing? So most recently, there was a story in Chicago where asylum seekers or migrants that were brought to that were brought to Chicago, right? From Texas. They were many of them were evicted from their temporary housing that was afforded by the city.
Correct.
But the city has allowed those people that were evicted because they don't have a place to go. Apparently, there's a measles outbreak amongst the migrants in Chicago. So because of that, they've allowed these people to submit, stays to their temporary housing, and the city is extending it so that they don't get kicked out, so that they can sort of deal with the health issues as a result of the measles. And then after that, perhaps that expires after its temporary extension, So yeah, I just wanted to give that context that there is a measles outbreak amongst migrants in Chicago.
So I'm a little bit radical on this, man. I say open all borders. Stop acting like there's any difference between like the Canadian border and the Mexican border, and as if like the cultures and all of that, like there's cultural differences and all of that, man. But like by having like these different like parameters or whatever, where people are trying to seek a different experience for their family or whatever the case may be, they're fleeing natural disaster or they're fleeing war or whatever the case may be. We're in a global society now, man. Like the internet, we can access each other's, portals, in a completely different way than we were able to, before social media and these different things, man. And we're a giant human family that has been made to feel as though we're inferior or superior based on whatever land we were born on. And I just really don't like believe in that, man. So like I know I took it in kind of a different direction, but like you were saying like illegal aliens. I know you were somewhat joking, but I also know you were somewhat serious.
Who's joking? Like my bad. Like
okay.
No, I'm not joking, because the reason why I'm saying this situation is because if they're using wordplay, to get across the border, right? And yet, I agree with you 100% what you're saying, right? But if they're using wordplay to get across the border and stuff like that, and they start looking for places, because it's going to get to the point where they're going to kick them out of the facilities.
You said they're using wordplay to get across the border, like that, like they were like freestyle battling to get into America.
Yeah, asylum seeker, but these motherfuckers are crazy out here killing motherfuckers.
Bro, who the fuck is killing motherfuckers?
Who the fuck ain't killing motherfuckers? Are you seeing what's going on in New York?
Everybody's killing everybody. It's not just migrants looking for a better life, and they just so happen to be catching bodies on the way. It's everybody, bro. Everybody killing everybody.
Are you seeing what's going on in New York right now? What I'm saying is, like, they use the words asylum seeker, and majority of the people that's coming through are men. You know what I'm saying? They're discovering that these men are gang members that's coming through. You know what I mean? And they're bringing the terrors that's been happening in their country, and they're bringing over to NYC. Now, NYC, we already know there's a lot of terrorists in there already. You know what I'm saying? But they're coming through, and they're coming through, and they're creating chaos. They're fighting people. They're doing a lot of dangerous things right now. It's been shown. They're fearing that, you know what I'm saying, the particular gangs, they don't want the particular gangs to team up with another particular gang, because it's going to be out of control. It's going to be like what's going on with barbecue, right? Okay. Now, imagine you walk into the crib and you minding your business, and this is your home, and now these motherfuckers is in your fucking house. You know what I'm saying? And they're talking about asylum seeker, squatter rights. And they do it overplay from underplay, and you talking about, oh well, you know what I'm saying, they could do that because everybody's human shit.
It is a white supremacist fear tactic to make you think that these people that are fleeing like deplorable conditions in their own homeland are coming here to become what, MS-13 or whatever gang that you think that they're becoming, bro? Like that's a Fox News. That's a Fox News talking point if I've ever heard it. Most people that are coming to America are coming here seeking a better life for themselves and their families. Now they might get caught up in some shit once they get here, but the intention of those that are like crawling over barbed wire fence, bro, with what, three, like what, no clothes or whatever and nothing, you know what I'm saying, not drink any water for 3 days, having walked here barefoot, bro. Like most of those people, the fear tactic is to make you think that they're coming here to become a gang member and do whatever, man. Like
I'm not saying that all these people are like that.
You know the immigrants I'm worried about, the Melanias, them Europeans.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying
nobody else is worried about.
Listen, I'm not saying that a lot of these motherfuckers that coming over here ain't asylum seekers. I'm just saying that people are sneaking in using the term, and they're sneaking through, and it's happening and it's showing. And yeah, if you're not creating me creating you, I agree. Sometimes they put the extra shit out there to make it happen, but it is happening. You know what I mean? And it's like and a lot of people are saying, you know what? I just found my stimulus check, or I just found my way to like to get out of the country and stuff like that, and don't have to pay shit for 7 years and everything like that, and start my own business and get all the funding and everything like that. I found my way to do this shit, and it's like, you know, hey, did you hear about this? Yeah, I heard about this. Yeah, I'm going. You going? Mm-hmm. I'm going. You going? You going? I'm going. Okay, so cool. So now that the situation is happening, like I said, the main thing is that if I'm walking in my fucking house and people, and I had this own, I don't own shit, but if I owned the house, you know what I'm saying, and these motherfuckers come through and fucking squatting in your fucking crib, that's an issue, bro. That's a legit issue, bro.
If that happens, that is a legit issue. You know what else is a legit issue? Right. If Ray and them from up the block see that you went on an extended vacation and you come back and they're your shit. It's a like
absolutely.
Yeah, so like we can say anything, any issue, if you throw immigrants into it, it's going to be an immigrant issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there's no need to throw, like, if there's a case, if we could talk about a specific case where that happened, we should talk about a specific case. But we can't just talk about immigrants coming over the border. There might be immigrants coming over the border with superpowers and shit, bro, that are gonna, you know what I'm saying, like be flying and shit once they get over here. But until I see it, you know what I'm saying, unless we have an actual case to talk about, then this is all like conjecture, and that borders on like just fear mongering and stereotyping of people that
not fear mongering, bro. It's happening, bro.
So Z, I can tell you that there are some stories that have occurred recently in New York City, where there's tech crimes, right? Migrants that have come or that have been transported to New York from the southern border have been engaged in tech crimes, whereby they're stealing cell phones from New York residents, hacking the phones, emptying bank accounts, and then causing a huge disservice to New Yorkers that are, or New York City residents that are already in cash-strapped situations, right? Mm-hmm. So I do recognize, and I do agree with you, Z, that people should have an opportunity to pursue this quote-unquote American dream, be able to flee their country to get away from poverty, get away from government corruption, you know, whatever type of turmoil that they're experiencing in their home country. The concern for me is, you know, particularly being somebody that is from New York City and still has parents that are elderly that live in New York City, and an in-law that is elderly and lives in New York City, is if these folks are there, and I'm not saying that, you know, Ray and the ignorant nigga that's on the corner is not capable of doing this, but these are things that we recognize, right? We've come to sort of recognize those potential problems and those forms of, you know, sort of criminal intent in the neighborhood, because that's where we're from, right? But when you add a new element to it, and it's completely unfamiliar to you. You just don't know what people are capable of. And when you think about this in the context of the elderly people that live there, they're already vulnerable, but there's a whole nother vulnerability factor that now exists because of migrants. So if they're riding around on these mopeds, which is the case, right? They're unlicensed. The mopeds are not registered. There have been cases where they've ripped purses off of, women's shoulders and robbed them and that type of stuff. Those things are worrisome for those of us that have loved ones in New York, particularly those that are elderly people, right? So I think I understand, the position of both of you guys, but I think there's a situation here that just needs to be handled, right? And as we see it, it doesn't seem like the residents of New York are being prioritized with the presence of these migrants now, because now New York City residents that were already cash strapped, living below the poverty level, or might be middle income people, but they might as well be living below the poverty level because the cost of living is so high in New York City. Now the resources that they look forward to be able to help supplement their income, to be able to get access to, food resources or, monetary resources to help make ends meet. A lot of those programs are cash strapped, so they can no longer rely on those anymore. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that we, that we have to consider here. And I think the people even in Chicago would agree that, they might be dealing with the same thing,
Now, I'm saying that people get shot every day, B. People get robbed every day, B. This happens in a major city, right? But like D just said about Chicago, in Illinois, they're passing a law right now to say that immigrants are able to carry guns legally. Now
that's crazy.
That's fucking insane. And it's like, excuse me, because I didn't want to say asylum seekers, right? But these motherfuckers are in here, you know what I mean? And they're doing it because, like, at least if somebody does the crime that's a New Yorker and they did the crime, then you can find out who these fucking niggas are. You know what I'm saying? The people that does these crimes and stuff like that, they're ghost criminals. Nobody knows who they are. That's not a word play. That's not a different thing to put fear tactics. You don't know who they are. You know what I'm saying? And they doing it, and once they do it, it's done. You know what I mean? And it's like, even if if they get them and arrest them, they let them go.
Look, my thing is this. I think that immigrants need to be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. Our brothers and sisters from Haiti, with everything that they're going through, and considering that it's the West that put them in the conditions that they are going through right now, to say that they shouldn't be allowed in the United States, I can never say that. If it's somebody that's, from China or whatever that, got here, came here on a, charter jet and ended up staying in the country, and they're working for Intel and they have a bunch of different, they're working for that's a different situation. But when we paint the whole migrant crisis in such broad stripes, where we're just calling them, this and that or whatever, without understanding that there are very real atrocities in this world that our tax dollars are paying for. So American, like I said, it's lockstep with white supremacy, man, because like the conditions that this country has caused are like married to the conditions around the world that people are fleeing in their own countries. So we just have to be like understanding of that, man. Like our tax dollars, like there's blood on all of our hands.